Are you serious? Are you serious? Horrible situation. Landslide in China has buried buildings and leaves at least 27 people missing. According to reports, this landslide collapsed and buried several buildings at and around an industrial park in the southern Chinese city of Shenzhen. 27 people are missing. At least 7 people were rescued after 18 buildings were buried in an area of 24,000 square yards was covered with soil, according to the Ministry of Public Security's Firefighting Bureau said in an online statement. Now, China's Public Security Bureau posted a notice online saying that 8 hours after this landslide, 21 men and 6 women were unaccounted for. This is a very, very terrible situation here. We really need to pray for these folks. A horrific landslide. State broadcaster China Central Television, also known as CCTV, said that there was a residential area next to an industrial zone and that the buildings buried included 2 workers' dormitories. Now, folks, it's almost like slave labor there. I mean, you have to understand, these people have a job. They work about 12 to 14 hours a day. They live in a little dorm room, and they work, it's slave labor, okay? The industrial, and this is what's happened. The United States allowed, our politicians allowed our industrial factories to be taken away from American workers, shipped into China and India and a few other places, and where they work people for pennies on the dollar in unbearable conditions. And while the American public loses these jobs, it would have definitely made their lives much better for so many more Americans who then are out here scraping. And, everybody says, well, the unemployment's only 5%. That is absolutely the most bogus statistic in history. That is the 5% of people who have been working and laid off in the last 2 years or so. That does not count for all of the people who never did, lost their jobs, lost their homes, and never even could get another job. Plus, a lot of those folks got jobs, but they were part-time, no insurance. And oh, by the way, the homeless population is exploding in this country, and they're off the grid. They're not anywhere in these numbers. They once were workers, many of them, now they're homeless. I'm telling you, bogus numbers. And this is where Americans' jobs wound up. And now the Chinese, who are living in squalor, a lot of times working like dogs, unfortunately, this becomes their fate as there's a landslide. Now, that could happen anywhere and any time. But I'm just saying, I just thought I'd throw that in, that the working conditions and a lot of these textile and mills and a lot of these factories are literally insane. But pray for these people in China. These folks, hardworking, just trying to survive, working, living in a corrupt government there in communist China. And what a horrific thing to happen. Pray for these folks, their families. It's a terrible scene. I'll be right back with more current world events and how they relate to Bible prophecy. Give your life to Jesus Christ because we are living in apocalyptic times.